Shohei Ohtani is worth $700 million. Well, not yet, but he will be. The Dallas Cowboys find themselves moving ever so higher in our NFL power rankings. And are you going to buy a plane ticket and go see the NFL in Brazil? This is the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the We Don't Know Sports podcast. This is Chad the Mark with
Mr. Brown
and
Canadian Biggie.
We're missing Mongo. He's somewhere down in the Florida Panhandle, Biloxi, Mississippi, New Orleans.
I feel like he's been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere, man.
We're like thinking he's in Alabama, and you're telling him to go check out a warship, and then he's like, "Nah, man, I'm in Florida right now."
Yeah, he is being a Gulf Coast traveler.
Where in the world is Mongo?
So he's not with us, but Mongo, you're in our thoughts and prayers. Have safe travels. And we got a lot to talk about. And I just want to jump right into it, man, because we've been saying pretty much for a year that we all knew where Shohei Ohtani was going. In the opening to the show, it's the first thing I wanted to say. $700 million. I feel like that's been on par for the course of what we've been saying, especially you, Mr. Brown, the entire year. We just kind of agreed with you. But there's a lot of little tidbits that keep coming out each day as time passes. But I just need to hear your initial thoughts, reactions, emotional outbursts. Shohei Ohtani is now a Los Angeles Dodger. They did the press conference today. He put on that Dodgers blue, and he officially set the record for the most jerseys sold in a single day, I think. So, or maybe
48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah, honestly, we knew it was coming, but it's the only place I didn't want him to go.
But you knew it was coming.
I mean, like, I anticipated it. So when that Toronto news broke, I was so happy.
Smokescreen.
And I was like, man, that'd be the perfect place for him. Out of sight, out of mind for my Braves for the next decade. But he signs, and I was adamant all along it was going to be at least $650. And then I thought it was going to come down some because of where he can't pitch next year. But that didn't affect his price at all. So the fact that people still paid $700, and I'm hearing now the Giants made him the exact same contract deal as the Dodgers, and he obviously picked the Dodgers.
The Giants didn't get him and then immediately moved on. Who did they just sign?
Oh, a pitcher from Japan.
Yeah, so I mean, they
positional player, but yeah, they gave him $130 million.
They were ready. Like, soon as Ohtani fell apart, they're like, all right, time to move on.
No, but here's the thing about the Giants. The Giants are a proud franchise, and they have a hard time pulling in that superstar. They can't get a superstar to sign there.
Why is that?
And it's a great baseball city. It's got great heritage and tradition there, but
sold out every week.
Think
every
about
day,
it, though.
every game.
Even the teams that won, those three teams it was Bumgarner and then Posey, but they were both homegrown. So like they didn't have no one come sign.
It was
them.
a lot of just like your above average guys coming together.
But name the last
time.
free agent that went there. You had Aaron Judge was supposedly signed and spurned him back to the Yankees last year. Correa.
Barry Bonds.
It was
That's
Barry
the last
Bonds.
Guy. I mean, honestly. So, I mean, but back.
Wait. Didn't they get Evan Longoria?
Oh yeah, that was a great move.
Big signing.
Yeah, but I mean, back to Ohtani. I mean, it's insane to me how he's taking $2 million for the next 10 years, and then I sent you all this parody about Wolves of Wall Street and the Dodgers, and basically they're like, and when his real contract kicks in 10 years, sell the team.
Well, the funny thing about sell the team was, correct me if I'm wrong here, I saw that he has an opt-out clause in his contract, and if the GM gets fired
or the
ownership changes, he can opt out.
I mean, Chad brought that up. You said it was on Bleacher Report. I didn't see it, but I'm sure if Ohtani asked for it, he got it. That's where we're at.
I got to give a little shout out to Bleacher Report. Like, they are on point with these notifications. Like it might be a rumor on Twitter, but then like Bleacher Report will throw that stuff up there, and then like 2 hours later, I'm getting the update from ESPN and Apple News. So
much quicker.
I'm giving a shout out, free publicity for Bleacher Report. If you don't have the notification set, I think Biggie turned me on to that. I think you started.
Bleacher Report's nice.
It is the way to go. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
You can go in and set your team favorites. You get updates on all of them. I have two questions on Ohtani. One, he switched teams, but all he really did was go to the better team in the same city. Like, he doesn't have to buy a new house. He lives in the same spot. He's still in L.A.
People in Anaheim are going to get mad at that.
Why wouldn't he stay in L.A.? You know what I mean? That's like he's made for L.A.
He stayed where he was comfortable.
So they're 1 through 3. you could argue is probably the best 1 through 3 ever in a lineup, between Betts, Freeman, and Shohei. That's insane. But they're very left-handed in their lineup. They're dominantly left-handed.
I still want to talk about Shohei, but just since you mentioned like Freeman and Mookie, and this, did you see where him and Shohei, all of them and Shohei were there trying to get what's the other guy they're trying to get from Japan? Yamamoto.
He's already visited them.
Yeah.
And I had that in the notes. Talk about. I mean, it's such a good strategy to lock up Ohtani, and then if you would land arguably the top free agent pitcher as well on the market, then your Dodgers are looking good. They need some starting pitching.
Go ahead.
Didn't the Dodgers just make a trade for a pitcher from Tyler Glasnow or something? Pitcher from the Rays.
If it happens,
let's double check. I think the Dodgers traded for a starting pitcher.
They were rumored for.
Okay.
Do me a favor if you can, real quick, and I apologize to ask you to put your mic down, but can you do me a favor and Google what Shohei's endorsements are? Because it's interesting with this whole $2 million a year thing, and look, $700 million is $700 million. And if you told me I had to wait 10 years to cash in, I think I could wait. I would find a way. I'd be counting down the days, don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to be just fine anyway because he's got to make a ton. I don't know what they get for a cut of the jersey sales, but then he's getting Japanese money too. I mean, I just think he's probably going to be one of the highest paid. He's going to be like in that Jordan LeBron territory.
According to Google, the Phenom is one of the highest paid athletes in sports off of endorsements alone, raking in a reported $50 million annually.
Okay.
His sponsors include Japanese watchmaker Seiko, as well as Fanatics and Topps. Earlier this year, he signed a long-term endorsement deal with New Balance.
So $50 million just in endorsements.
So now we're talking about in 10 years, now you're making $120 a year. So how much you making your $120?
1,000?
Yeah.
My other question for you guys is, has there been a team to screw up worse losing a free agent? Because the Angels could have traded him, got a bunch back for him. Instead, they decide that they're going to add, and then they lose out completely.
Well, they decided they were going to add. Then they added Renfroe and a few other people, and then they ended up designating them for assignment to keep their team under the luxury tax.
Well, all right, so that's the next thing I want to talk about. First of all, you are right. The Angels are just – they're
because they got nothing. Like in the NFL, you can get a compensatory pick and stuff. The Angels haven't made the playoffs in however long.
They're like the Cleveland Browns, man.
You got Mike Trout, who's Hall of Famer. All these great players. Bad teams make bad decisions. I guess it just kills me that they weren't willing to trade him and they couldn't re-sign him.
I feel bad for Wash, man. I love him to death, and I'm glad he got a job, because he deserves another job, another shot, but he has no chance in that division.
Thankless job.
I hate it for him. I mean, I'm happy for him, but it's not going to end well.
No, it's not. But the thing I wanted to transition to, since we were talking about, just not getting anything out of it, and the Angels getting underneath the luxury tax, the Dodgers apparently are getting under some of the penalties of the luxury tax because of all this deferment. So I just want to say, I think this is kind of bullshit, right? Like the fact that you can defer, like, this is chaos. And I know it's been going on for years. Bobby Bonilla is getting celebrated every July. Ken Griffey Jr. is still getting paid by the Reds.
Chris Davis.
I mean, there are bad decisions everywhere. But it's stupid that you're able to make these bad decisions and defer your bad decision for years and years and not have it affect your competitive balance.
The one reason I agree with you, because what you said about his contract, ownership changes, he can opt out. If ownership changes in 5 years, the $680 million may not still be guaranteed. They find ways to work through different loopholes. I agree in a way you should only be able to defer a certain amount.
I don't think you should be able to defer at all. If you're going to pay this guy, because now this is ballooned. It's the Deshaun Watson effect too now in MLB, because I know Ohtani's a unicorn, but $700 fucking million? That's ridiculous. I mean, that's how many teams.
So you're saying that it's a competitive advantage loophole they took advantage of, because now you got the Dodgers who just went and got the highest paid player ever in free agency, and now they can still add the number one pitcher coming over from Japan. They can afford to be high, and Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. They don't have to worry about paying anybody.
I just think there should be a percentage that you can on. I mean, I'm fine with deferred money. I don't think it should be none. I mean, because that's their. I mean, but I think there should be a rule this athlete, Shohei, is deferring 97% of his salary for the next 10 years.
But can you do that in other sports? Like, I know you can't in the NFL.
The only thing you can do in the NFL is structure contracts to where instead of it being like against the salary cap, it turned into a signing bonus.
Right. You can spread it out over the years of the contract. You can like backload it because you're counting on the salary cap to go up. But you can't say, like, you can't sign Aaron Rodgers and be like, we're going to pay you over the next 20 years. Like, it doesn't work.
I've never
like
seen a contract like that in any other sport other than baseball, or heard of one, honestly.
Because the Dodgers have money, so all they did, like, they can afford to pay Shohei that money now, but why do it if I can spread it out and have the MLB not penalize me on a payroll tax? It's just asinine.
And I don't know if people even realize this, but let's pretend for a second that they were paying the full $70 million right now. Their payroll would still be less than it was 2 years ago. They cleared out $100 million in payroll preparing for Shohei. So they're still below that, even with $70 million.
Which is why nobody's surprised, or you shouldn't be, because if you haven't been paying attention,
that's what blows my mind, though, that they was wanting to defer that much. Like, I figured they would try to go and get some. I don't know.
I think it's a joint agreement between Shohei and the Dodgers to say, look, we can see you cleared this much money out for me. I want to be in LA too, but how do I make my mark? How do I become not just a unicorn, but a legend? I do it by winning. How can I do that?
Yeah,
allow you to spend more money. What did Tom Brady always do? He took less money because he could afford to. What did that afford him?
I'm not blaming Shohei
had a better
doing
team.
Well, now if let's say he rolls off like 3 titles at least, and like does what the Giants did, he's a legend.
Yep, and that contract will be worth every penny because because the Dodgers have been maligned with postseason success. They don't do a great job.
I'd say the Giants' 3 world championships came a little cheaper.
They definitely did. So how many teams do you have to combine to get to $700 million in payroll right now?
Well, I know that Ohtani's making more in that his salary is more than like 5-6 teams.
I think you could combine both Central Division teams and it wouldn't touch Ohtani's payroll over that time period.
So I've never thought about this.
I mean, his contract's more than some teams this year.
Right. Combined, like several
teams.
Yeah, 6 teams.
I've never thought about it like this before, but in the NBA, the Western Conference had all the good players for a while. In the NFL, the AFC had all the good quarterbacks for a while. When I look at baseball now, I look at the National League. I got the Phillies are much CTV. You love Bryce Harper, Trey Turner. You got the Atlanta Braves who are going to continue to win 105 games. Now you got the Dodgers. It's like whoever wins the pennant there wins the World Series.
Yeah, I mean,
because the Astros are fading.
They are. I mean, you can't stay young forever.
The Yankees don't know how to spend their money and be competitive.
Oh, they know how to spend their money. They just don't know how to be competitive. You're right.
Yeah, them and the Red Sox, same way. So the National League is so loaded that come playoff time, because all 3 of those teams are going to be there, you're guaranteed to get probably 2 of them in the NLCS. That's a good look. I like it.
As of last week, did you realize that the Yankees were 3rd favorite betting odds to win the World Series?
Well, you brought that up on the show last week.
Which is a damn joke, though.
Yeah.
When I looked on FanDuel, they were, I think, 5th or 6th. But different sites have them differently. But yeah, and that was right after they signed.
They traded for Soto, and the thing is, you got to lock him up. But I mean, and they also need to get that Yamamoto to double down. I mean, I think they need pitching as well.
So let's put a bow on the hot.
Yeah, you put Yamamoto with Cole.
Yeah,
I like that.
So where do you have a prediction on Yamamoto?
I mean, the Dodgers. It's inevitable.
That's what it feels like. But I mean, at least it seems like there's a lot of teams talking to him.
Maybe if the Giants would overpay him, and maybe he would go there. Because we'll see. But
they just signed the other big Japanese player.
Yeah, but they didn't spend that much.
I know, dude, they're willing to pay Shohei the same contract. I'm sure they go for 2 players.
Well, I guess I was looking at it from the opposite point. Do these 2 guys know each other?
And that was the point we were talking about earlier, where Shohei and the boys and Dodger Blue are sitting there like, come talk to us, buddy. We're here to have a good time. Mm. But all right. So, any other big dominoes you ready to see fall, or is it still a little quiet here on the Western Front? Like, I feel like the big one is moved, and that's what we were waiting on. But we saw Soto get moved too. So, like, what else is left to happen?
I mean, you got Snell. Where does Snell go?
That's been real quiet, hasn't it?
Snell has been, and then if Glass now does get moved, he's going to be a nice piece. Really, I mean, there's not a lot out there now.
All these old Tampa Rays pitchers finding new homes.
Before we finish up here, I just got one question for you because you pay a lot more attention than I do, even though it's my team. You're into baseball. Is there any one name, top 15, 20 free agent trade out there that the Mariners are targeting? Because according to The Athletic,
He's
which I
looking
do
at you
read,
to try to tell him some good news.
well, I read The Athletic and they're all over it. And Jerry, we dump salary.
You
we're
pay
going
for The
backwards.
Athletic?
It's free for me.
Oh, okay.
I hate
Got
to tell you,
someone's
buddy,
password.
but I don't see the Mariners doing much the rest of the offseason.
Okay, that you know what? Yeah. Okay, thanks.
I had a buddy of mine call me up, and he was just venting about the Cubs. Like he's like, is it just smoke and mirrors? Are they just trying to act like they're going to compete because they're kind of ahead of schedule as far as performance goes, but they've kind of dropped the ball with Bellinger. I don't know what's going to happen with him.
I wouldn't sign him for what he wants either. I mean,
Right.
I'd let him walk.
Because we've seen, I don't know, is it more?
Their lineup's not the problem. They got a good lineup.
They need pitching.
They need pitching. Yeah, so like I could see them if they would sign a Snell or someone like that. They would be.
They'd be front runners in the Central.
Yeah, they'd be contenders in the Central.
Yeah, I believe that. But that's crazy because they're such a big market, and the Cubs have money, man, but they never overspend, it seems like.
So here's the thing I don't get. The Cubs are that team, lovable losers, and they win World Series. They've fallen back, obviously. A big city like Chicago and willing to spend money. How do they not get more big-name free agents? They got Cody Bellinger, but he was on the rebound. 1-year deal, bet on himself. Now he wants more money than they're willing to pay.
What type of contract do you think Bellinger will get? Who's going to pay him?
I don't know. He was asking for like $230.
$230.
What I read.
I
I don't know. That's tough.
Are there any teams with big contracts that you anticipate offloading anybody like the Padres?
You never know what the Padres are going to do. I mean,
That's why I bring it up.
They've got like 4 shortstops still on their roster. So, I mean, I can absolutely see them moving one of them, although Tatis will never see the infield again. After he won a gold glove in the outfield, he's now an outfielder.
Yeah. I'm with you there. But it's just they got a lot of money on the books. I just don't know if they can hang on because the result is not matching the pocket right now. But I don't know. Maybe they'll just be the Yankees of the West and spend on a lot of good players that don't equate to actually winning meaningful games.
I'll tell you what's the thing that has caught my attention so far this offseason is the fact that how the Mets just kept throwing money out of last year and they were a complete dumpster fire. They haven't done anything this offseason so far, and I really thought with their owner that he would just double down and spend more money.
I think he took a hard look in the mirror and said, maybe just throwing money at the problem isn't the best solution.
Especially after he's paying a majority of Verlander and Scherzer's salary still.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, talk some NFL because Mr. Brown's got something he's got to get off his chest. We'll be right back.
Don't forget to follow us on all forms of social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We'll keep bringing you new content wherever you get it. Special recognition to Mr. Brown's Labor of Love, a growing Facebook group, America's Pastime for the Love of Baseball. There, hundreds of former big league players, umpires, managers, announcers, and writers interact with our fans to talk all things baseball. Make sure you find our other Facebook groups as well and give them a like, a follow, and a subscribe to We Don't Know Sports on all platforms.
So you guys talked to me like I was a dumbass last week. And what did I say? No one wanted to listen, but I told you what was going to happen. Not only did the Cowboys whip the Eagles' ass, they beat them by 20. We have soccer kickers making history. Dak's dropping dimes. We have C.D. Lamb, who wish our Raiders would have drafted over my boy Ruggs. But you know what? The Dallas are the best team in the NFC right now, over the Niners, and they're going to the Super Bowl.
Shots fired.
If they get past the next 2 weeks. But we'll talk about that here in a minute.
How about them Cowboys?
Mr. Brown, we can argue Cowboys Niners all day if we wanted to, and that's for later. But I will tell you, you were right.
We were wrong.
I was wrong.
We were wrong. We gave you so much shit because I've seen this show so many times to know you can't bet on Dallas. But you did. You picked your spot. You waited for the right time. The iron was red hot, and they branded the Eagles with that L. That's got to feel good. And you're right, man. Dallas looks pretty damn good.
Dude, everything on all cylinders looks good for them right now. I mean, they're one of the best defenses in the league. When their offense is humming, it's humming. They still have a good running game with Pollard. So they're one of the most complete teams in the NFL. So I do I understand if San Fran and them matched up today, San Fran would be the favorite, but don't sleep on them is all I'm saying. I think they could go into San Fran and win that game.
So we still had San Fran as number one.
Correct, and I agree with that right now.
But we all had Dallas at 2, except for Turbo, who's ahead of
all I'm
1.
saying is I hear the train a-coming.
It's coming down the bend.
San Fran hears it too.
They ain't seen the Super Bowl since I don't know when.
All I'll say is the Niners whooped that ass 42-10 earlier in the year. Now, Dallas wasn't playing as good at that point, and I would love to see that rematch.
Dallas is playing really good, but so is San Francisco right now.
No, here's the thing that really gets me. Everybody made such a big deal about Kellen Moore leaving to be OC and for the Chargers. Herbert's took a step back this year. McCarthy wanted him gone. He took over play calling duties. Look at Dak. He's probably the league lead for MVP, or he's in number 2. Like McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, was in the playoffs almost every year. First year in Dallas is rough. Then they win the division. They go to the playoffs last year. Look at what they're doing this year. How about throwing credit where it's due? Not only Dak, but McCarthy.
A lot of people wrote off McCarthy for the last few years. Like, is the game passed him by?
Well, I think it was also people looking back and saying, is it him or has he just been on teams with great quarterbacks that made him look like an offensive genius?
Well, yeah, because when you have guys like Rodgers or Manning, you're not sure if the play caller actually is doing anything.
So, do you know QBR, which we don't know what the magical formula is that ESPN keeps in a vault in Bristol, but it seems to be a pretty good measure of quarterbacks because it takes everything into account: third down efficiency throws, your ability to avoid sacks, your ability to run. Do you know who your top 5 quarterbacks are right now?
For QBR, I'm going to say Dak's in there.
Dak's number 2 at 74.6.
I'm going to say that Mahomes is in there.
Mahomes is number 4. Tua is not.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'm going to say Hurts is in there.
Hurts is number 8.
Ooh.
Lamar
Jackson.
I'm going to give it to you. All right. So number 5 is Justin Herbert. So for everything you talked about him taking a step back, I think it's just Chargers charging. That's just what they do. But Herbert, up until now, he's out for the year.
Yes.
But he was a top 5 guy. Mahomes, number 4. Josh Allen, number 3, who's been a turnover machine, and that hurts you in this rating. But, man, the Bills have played well the past, 4 or 5 weeks. And then Dak Prescott, number 2. It is 0.1 difference between Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy. That's insane.
Yeah.
But those are the 2 best teams in the NFL.
I mean, they're probably the 2 favorites for the MVP too, to be honest.
They really are, but I think if anybody's going to win it, it's Dak.
I agree.
Nothing against Brock Purdy. He's been great, but we saw that little snippet of when not everybody was full health and they really slid, but they bounced back. Give them credit for that. With the Cowboys, of all the Cowboy teams we've had in the past, this does not seem like the one that should be the best. Like, they don't have Amari Cooper. I know CD's balling. You know, they got rid of Zeke, and I know he was on the downtrend, but like there was questions about could Tony Pollard be the guy, and at times he couldn't find the end zone this year. The constant has been Dak Prescott. Like, how is he not your MVP right now?
He clearly is, and it's crazy given the fact, too, with Mahomes falling back as much as he has. So it's opened the window for other guys to take it.
I think the Chiefs are in trouble. Big time.
I do, too.
I think they might be one and done in the playoffs.
So, you know, a lot of times we look at coaches and we're like, oh, you got to go somewhere and prove yourself. Bieniemy leaving and the Chiefs being as sloppy as they are, he proved himself because what everyone would say, like him and Mahomes got into it on the sidelines. Everyone said Bieniemy, he's too hard. He's an asshole. Even his first training camp with Washington, they'd say the same thing. Kadarius Toney and these different mistakes they have weren't happening before this year.
No, and you know that's the thing is you need. It's a different world in 2023. I get that. But you kind of need that guy that can just stick his boot in your ass when you need it. And that was Bieniemy, and that kind of galvanized them when they had to. And I love Mahomes, man. He's a competitor. He deserves all the adoration he gets. but man, has his surrounding talent really let him down. Kelsey's not been himself this year. He's been distracted for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Sixes will do that to
you. Not an 8.
I will say this. If the Chiefs end up faltering and only making the first round of the playoffs and out, I'm fine with that. I don't need another cutaway to Taylor Swift. I'm with Al Michaels. Did you guys see that Al Michaels got taken off of NBC's playoff coverage?
Because he wouldn't talk about Taylor Swift? Is that why?
And he
That's
said,
not the reason, is it? Come on.
Well, that is a big factor behind it because he's steadfastly not wanted to talk about her when they've done Chiefs games. And he's even made the quote or the comment when he was asked about Taylor Swift is, you can't make the sideshow the show. We're here to cover football.
You're trying to gain an audience here. You're trying to grow your brand. I mean, Taylor Swift's going to do a concert in Brazil. The NFL's going to play a game in Brazil next year. Are you going to go to that? You all want to go to Brazil?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't come back.
Is it in Rio?
Rio de Janeiro.
Did they say where?
I have no idea.
No. I don't know, Sao Paulo or something like that. But it's crazy that they've been doing all these Europe games, and they've done Mexico. They didn't do Mexico this year, though, did they?
No. They did. Was
Their
Germany new
so
this
damn
year?
bad? They probably stayed away.
It has been bad.
It was bad down there the last time they had an NFL game. They had oxygen masks going between elevation and the pollution. They were like, we need hazard pay.
Yeah, I think people don't realize, like, Mexico City's, like, it's higher than Denver.
Yeah, it's like, it's I thought for some reason I'm thinking it was 5,600 or something like that.
It's up there. I don't know.
Maybe more than that. I don't know. But like between that and the pollution, man, they're like players are pissed.
You know, Mexico City's like sinking a little bit every year because they built it on top of what used to be like a body of water, and like each year it sinks like a couple inches.
No, was it like a canal?
It was like a lake.
All I know is Cancun don't have those area issues. You just got to go to the resorts. Exactly. They put a bubble around them.
Dude, Mexico City is 7,349 feet.
Well, I was only off by 1,500.
You're off by the elevation of Ohio or something similar. But all right, so back to the more recent happenings here in the NFL. We can opine about our trip to Brazil we might take. Let's talk about Buffalo for a second, because they were kind of written off and left for dead. But all of a sudden, they seem to be surging. And who does Buffalo host this week?
Dallas Cowboys.
What, do we got a spread on that game yet?
It's 2. Buffalo's favorite.
Buffalo's favorite. I know you get 3 at home, but still to be favored at all against who we just said might be the best team in the NFL. That's saying how far they've come. So do you believe that Buffalo might have a little playoff run in them, or is it just smoke and mirrors?
I mean, the difference in the last 3 or 4 weeks is Allen's basically put the team on his back, and he's doing a lot more running like he was. And he's just extending plays, extending drives, doing his thing. Kind of like a little right-handed John Elway out there doing his thing. So that's why they're rolling right now.
You got to get off Josh Allen's back about the turnovers. His touchdown, total counted for touchdown, passing and rushing, the turnover is the biggest margin of any quarterback in the league. It is this year. It's also the biggest margin since he came into the league. People want to talk about his turnovers. That's because of what you just said. He's putting the team on his back. By the way, we talked about Kadarius Toney, Mahomes flipping out, Andy Reid. You cost us a game. There's a minute and a half there. Didn't they play where Patrick Mahomes had 13 seconds to go down and get a field goal? 2017, they get that touchdown. It had been 24-20. There was still a minute 27 left on the clock. You're telling me Josh Allen couldn't have went down and won. So we put that to bed. I'm riding, as much as I hate to do it, Josh Allen carrying the Bills to 11 wins. They went out.
I like that. I do got to ask you about the Mahomes thing real quick with Josh Allen in the post game.
So here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you.
I just want to tell everybody what it is real quick, because if you didn't see it, it was a hot mic, and you're shaking hands, you're giving the hugs, you're dapping up and all that stuff. And he just told Josh Allen, that was a bullshit call at the end.
Worst call I've ever seen. Did you see the look on Josh Allen's face? He's like, dude, game's over. Shake my hand. So now everybody is under the spotlight. This is the only moment that Mahomes has had.
Let's coin
where
that
he just
word.
looked like a big crybaby. So I'm not going to write him off. But what I'm going to say is, if you want to yell at the ref, you want to complain to the press conference, go for it. You're shaking hands.
Not to the guy that just beat you.
Well, you're just going over and saying, hey, you're such a piece of shit. In 90 seconds, there's no way you would have come back. The refs took this from us. Be happy you got it. You paid for it. You bought them.
Look how he's bobbing his head side to side.
That was nothing but sass.
I'm just bothered by that.
Did you see where Brittany Mahomes went on social media and showed the referee and was like, is the real MVP?
That's where he got the head bob
That's
from.
what I thought. He just made me think of Brittany Mahomes.
I mean, listen, Mahomes has been he's been an upfront dude since he's been in the league. He messed up. He apologized for it after the fact. The heat of the moment. It was a bad look. You know, he cried like a little bitch, to be honest. And like, you know, you're just basically, you know, your partner here, another superstar. You're kind of just acting like he didn't have what it took to beat you. Basically just shitting all over him. Yeah. And I'm like, no, like, dude, like my thing is you're mad at a penalty that they got right. Like, I'm sorry that Tony didn't look over at the ref.
That's probably Mahomes, though. Like, think about his perspective. Like, he's the one at the line. He's looking side to side.
Why didn't he say anything?
Right. So, from his perspective,
he sees the line.
He must not have noticed that he was aggressively offsides.
That's the thing, too. I've talked about Mahomes should retire as a GOAT. He should surpass Brady, right? I don't know how many times watching a Patriots game, because it's quiet, especially at home, I heard Brady go, Gronk, get on the line!
Right.
Because he ain't in the right spot, and Brady knows where he wants to
You're right.
Same thing with Peyton Manning. So as much as he wants to complain, get a little more on top of it, Patrick.
Just snap the damn ball, Jeff.
Do you think he checked out because he knew he wasn't throwing the pass?
I think he thought he wasn't going to catch it anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, but like Peyton Manning said, if they call him offsides, blow the play dead. Like, they didn't have to have that play happen.
The thing that bothers me the most is how they say the refs took the touchdown away from him. The flag drops as soon as the ball snapped. They don't know what's going to happen. I agree. If it's dead right there, stop it. Player safety.
I mean, it ain't like it's a free play because it's offensive offsides or whatever. So it's not like you're going to free play it. So why would you let it continue anyway?
I mean, because nobody knew what was going on except for the referee. Good job, ref. All right, I have a quick little question to ask just about the world of, I guess, college football, college basketball before we wrap up this little segment here and we all take a little piss break. But, you know, just because we're West Virginia fans and we've been embattled with the transfer portal, you were asking me before the show started, and people, if you don't follow West Virginia sports, that's fine, guys. But we have a multitude of players that are appealing. There's a lawsuit. I think 11 states have filed, their attorney generals have filed against the NCAA because they're barring these transfers. And West Virginia has a player right now. But here's the thing I wanted to ask you. Did you see the rule about because they've appealed it, so there's a restraining order, so these guys that are suspended are allowed to play. So in the situation of Raekwon Battle, go ahead.
I like the fact that you said in battle to start it because we got Raekwon Battle.
Yeah.
When it was approved initially, he had a 14-day window to play. So this Saturday he could play. As of 3 o'clock this afternoon, when I checked, it has now been changed. If he plays Saturday, any of these guys,
no, so he still has the window. He still has the window. That hasn't changed. But
if he plays and it gets overturned, he has lost his year of eligibility.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
He could play one game, and here's the other thing. This is his last year of eligibility.
That's bullshit, man. Straight up bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
well, because what it does from his perspective, and then as a coach, if you're Eifert, you're like, hey, I don't know how it's going to turn out. If it doesn't work out here, you get to play another year. I'm not going to play you.
I was listening to the press conference, and like they don't know what to do. Like they're trying to like seek all this legal advice, but like, how would you feel if you tell this kid this is his last shot at college, and now we got NIL money involved, and yeah, he's probably not playing in the NBA, but all these guys
play overseas.
They play overseas and make six figures, you know.
Well, and the other thing about it, the NIL money, another year, that gives them a chance to set up an overseas career, which is where a lot of guys from West Virginia have went and played. I've done this before. Death to the NCAA is the governing body because in NCAA college football, Nico Marshall, our backup quarterback, can actually play 3 games. He could start 3 games. He doesn't lose his red shirt. In football, you get to play in 4 games, not lose your red shirt. And basketball, if he plays 3 minutes on Saturday,
and more games,
his year's done.
That's dumb.
Yeah. 3 minutes is all he's got to play. He's just got to go on the court once.
How are you so backwards? Because the NCAA is
it's supposed to be about the kids. You're supposed to be about the student athletes.
It so bothers me.
but it's not like you're not letting them, everybody else bounce it down wherever the hell they want to go. So what's the difference?
And if anything, can West Virginia basketball not have a hardship waiver?
I mean, that's what it should be at this point.
Like, they're playing 8 guys. Like, let's just let them play for health of players.
And we know that it's not like they're going to contend for a conference title or nothing. So, like, what's it really hurting out there?
It's just hurting the kid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bullshit. I hate the NCAA. It's so bad. It's so bad. I did have another NFL thing I wanted to ask about.
Okay.
So I saw Ben Roethlisberger has a little podcast he's doing, and he was talking about the Steelers' way is done.
Yeah, he said it's bad coaching right now.
And he said everything. The players are holding each other accountable. He said, like, on defense they might be, but he said when I was a rookie and I was coming up in the league, we had guys like Jerome Bettis and Hines Ward. Like, they'd grab you by the face mask and tell you how it was.
Yeah, but they don't have an identity now.
They don't have anything.
From the offensive side, they don't have a superstar that's going to jump in there and be like, show you the Steelers' way. There's nobody that has that resume.
They got beat by the New England Patriots, and it caused Ben Roethlisberger to come out of the woodwork and say, it's over. That's how bad it is. They lost to the hapless Patriots, and it broke the Steelers.
I was going to save this stat for the other show, but I'll just use it twice. Now, I love Mike Tomlin. I love how he talks in his press conferences. I love the fact that he has never had a losing season. Do you know how many times they've won a game in the playoffs in 17 seasons?
I know the answer.
What was the question?
How many of his 17 seasons have they made the playoffs and won a game?
I know
Twice?
I know this. It's 4.
4?
4.
Okay. Because I know
So
he's got a
think of
Super
the
Bowl.
Steelers as not being a bad team. They're in the playoffs. They're competitive. Yeah, they get in as a wild card and they lose. Or they win the division and they lose.
So it's like the Braves.
Yeah.
Football.
Is Baltimore legit right now? Do you feel them and Lamar?
Dude, I've told you before, I trust no team less than Baltimore Ravens to protect the lead in the fourth quarter. The Rams are the first team all year to lead the Ravens in the first quarter.
I think the Rams
ended up winning.
I think the Rams are sneaky, though. I think they've kind of come around a little bit. They just don't have a lot
I need
of
the Rams
pieces.
to win out, finish 10-7 because I did a futures on them for 10 wins. Oh, God, I got good odds.
Overall, I think the Ravens are legit, but I always get worried in the playoffs if they run into that one team and for whatever reason they get down 13-0, they can't play from behind. They have to impose their will from the beginning.
If they
do that, they'll roll on.
If they're ahead of schedule on their drives,
right.
they're unbeatable.
Well,
but if they're behind schedule, they are terrible.
I just feel like every time they get in the playoffs, now they're down by 2 scores and they don't know what to do.
If it's a bunch of 3rd and 8s and longer, they're fucked.
Yeah.
To what you just said, right now they're the 1 seed in the AFC, and they play Miami in 2 weeks.
I wouldn't be surprised if Miami beat them.
Well, no, I think Miami plays.
No, Miami was the 1 until they lost.
But Miami plays Dallas in 2 weeks, I thought.
No, Miami plays Dallas, they play Buffalo, and they play the Ravens. They play the Ravens
We're going to
Christmas
find
Eve.
out a lot about them, aren't we?
My point being, it could come down if the Ravens beat that. If they win that game, they're probably the 1 seed with home field advantage. So, do they roll with
that? Helps things. I mean, when you're rolling in Baltimore, then you're probably going to have a better chance of inserting your dominance.
And Lamar bet all over himself. Didn't even go to the playoff game. Wasn't sure if he's going to play for him. He's having a hell of a year.
He is. It's amazing what winning can cure.
I feel like the AFC is so wide open that if they were in the Super Bowl, it wouldn't surprise me a bit.
So I
don't feel like there's someone that can just be like, "Oh, we're going to."
How refreshing is it that you're just not like it's the Chiefs and everybody else? Like it's wide open. Even the NFC is wide open. Like right now, we feel really good about Dallas and San Francisco, but like Philly's not that far back. I mean,
I disagree. I think Philly's closer to the Lions than they are to the Cowboys.
Philly's defense has been suspect all year.
Right now, you're right.
And it's completely fallen apart the last couple of
weeks.
Right
now, you're right, but they've been here before. Let's see how they do.
I mean, they're battle-tested for sure.
I'm not ready to write them off.
I don't feel like if they got into a tough situation in the playoffs, it's going to scare them away. Right. They're going to buckle down and they're going to go after it.
But they don't seem to have that extra gear that the other 2 teams we mentioned do.
Right. Offensively, at least.
Right.
Like they're kind of like Baltimore, but better offensively. My point is, like with them too, I feel like if they get down big, it's hard for them to come back because Brown is already getting frustrated and kind of throwing a little bit of shade at Hurts too in the media.
Dude's been playing hurt all year too. Like, you need to relax.
I mean, I love Justin Hurts. Like, give me him on my team any day because that's saying it from a Raiders fan. But I mean, could he throw the ball better? Yes, but mean, he wins games.
Yeah, that's all you ask for, right? I mean, that's the thing about Tua, man. Like, nobody thinks like he was going to be this good. Everybody was like, oh, he's got the hip problem. He can't throw. He's a lefty, whatever. And you put some talent around him. And I saw, did you see Cam Newton pop his head out of a hole in the ground and run his mouth a little bit? And he was talking.
4 QBs that are like all in the MVP running, and they're all.
Yeah, he called them all game managers. And I think I saw Adam Schefter was on Twitter. Is like, this isn't a good look for Cam. And he's right. Like, man, do you not remember how you ended your career the last like 5 years you were in the league? Like, don't get me wrong, Cam was an MVP and he had his moment, but he couldn't even be a game manager when he had to. So, I mean, it's harder than what people want to say.
It was a very, very short moment. What was his window there? Like 2 or 3 years?
He had like a 3-year peak where he was real good. And then
I had him in fantasy one year when he won league MVP, and I ended up winning a fantasy league.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how long ago you've been relevant.
That would
I won it the next 3 years. You let me know when you ever get to don the belt.
I am the Browns of fantasy football, okay?
No, you make the playoffs.
No, you're the Braves of fantasy
I'm
football.
the Browns. I won all these before there was a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I got you.
When it didn't count.
The 1951 NFL championship.
That's me.
Someone fact check that for me. All right, last thing I got, then we'll move off of NFL and football. But I don't know where I saw this, but I saw it multiple places, and this is directly to you, Biggie. Do you have any idea what I'm about to ask you?
Well, about reports on Belichick and Kraft.
Like, what's the story here?
There's no story. If you
bullshit, I'm hearing it.
Why would they give him a contract, though?
If you follow the Patriots, this stuff's all been discussed and pretty much ironed out already. And
so what's going to happen?
The year, they're going to sit down. They did give him extension in the offseason. As the seasons went along, him and Kraft are going to sit down at the end of the year. Kraft thinks that they need to go on a different decision with general management. Bill wants to continue coaching. Bill already has 3 spots lined out to continue coaching.
The Chargers?
The Chargers.
I'd like to see that, actually.
Washington, Carolina, and the Bears are also mentioned.
I'd retire before I'd go to those 2.
Yeah. But like that, Robert Kraft decided to move on. That stuff was like 3-4 weeks ago. Now, there's been no decision made publicly. That's everyone's, what they expect sort of thing. But he's going to fire him. He's moving on. No. The relationship's reached a point where they each think that it's better to go in a different way. Bill's got a landing spot.
This is kind of weird. It's kind of surreal for me because, we had the dynasty there in New England. Then Brady. Was it always Brady? Was it Belichick? Brady goes down to Tampa, wins the Super Bowl, and establishes his dominance as the GOAT. He solidifies his, he's there.
It's undisputed.
Yeah. So then Belichick, he struggled since then. I feel like he has to pick this last spot not only to pass Shula if he stays for 3 years, but also to kind of bring back his what's the word?
His allure, his luster.
like his resume, and not his resume, so to speak, but his aura. Yeah, I mean, because he needs to finish strong, I feel like, wherever he goes. And I feel like if the Chiefs kind of stay down like a little bit what we're seeing, and then the Chargers could be a good team in that division if they had good leadership.
They have the players.
They have the quarterback. We know he knows what to do with the quarterback.
Well, the thing that always gets me the most when they talk about, here's his record without Brady. Okay. Yes, it's a little bit under 500.
And some of that was with Cleveland as
right.
Like, if you look at this year, they went 3 straight games, giving up 10 or less, lost all 3. What's Bill known for? Defense.
Right.
Where are they still killing it? Defensive side of the ball with your best players out. The guy can still coach. If you look at the history of football, all of our great coaches, what were they without a good to great quarterback?
Oh, we talk about that in college all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't put all your money on a coach who's only been victorious when he's had an elite level QB.
Yeah, as a lifelong fan of the Patriots and everything, I'm kind of liking to see Bill go somewhere where there's a quarterback in place, start new, win, so that all these people are like, you couldn't do anything.
He doesn't have to go find the most important piece. Yeah. It's already there.
Yeah, you're not winning. Who's the only great coach in the history of football in the National Football League to win, regardless of who his QB was, at a high level?
Andy Reid.
No.
What? Andy Reid's won with all kinds of jokers at quarterback.
He's won minimal. He won Super Bowls once he got a phenom like Patrick Mahomes.
You just said
Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Went to 4 Super
You're
Bowls,
right.
won 3 of them with
Can
3
you-
different starting quarterbacks.
Can you name them all?
Doug Williams.
You got one.
Joe Theismann.
That's 2.
You know who the other one is?
Is it Mark Rippon?
Mark Rippon.
Say that.
Hey, that's all right. Together,
Hey.
One, right?
together we
Do you
got.
guys know who the only quarterback is to lose a Super Bowl for Joe Gibbs?
Was
It was against your Raiders.
Was it Theismann?
Joe Theismann.
Okay.
38-9, that Marcus Allen
What
run.
was that, 80 or 83?
He's got to look.
83.
He's got to look at the dusty ass Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
because like
picture.
I got that posted up. I'm a Raiders fan, and the last championship I was a year old.
Is that in
I guess-
black and white? What is
Yeah,
it?
it is. It is.
I'm trying to say that, like,
It's scribbled on a rock, and I put it in a case.
It's higher.
Chuck Noll won 4. He had Bradshaw. Bill Walsh won. He had Montana. Landry had Staubach and Danny White. If you look at the 90s, Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman, Hall of
No, we
Famer.
get it.
I guess my point being,
No one,
without
not
that
everyone's
piece-
Brian Billick, okay? Not everyone can win with Trent Dilfer.
Oh my God!
I love
That
Brian
Super Bowl.
Billick. Brian Billick's a great interview too. If you ever
Yes.
listen to him, he's funny. He's just loud.
So yeah, I'm thinking like not everybody has that skill like him. So we need more Brian Billicks in the world.
We need more Brian Billicks.
My favorite Brian Billick moment ever. You don't have to put it on here, but I'm still going to talk into the mic. Is that he was playing a preseason game in Philadelphia at Old Veterans Stadium. The turf was so bad, he's out there rubbing his foot
I
on it.
remember that.
And he canceled the preseason game. He didn't. Well,
That's what killed
the
the
NFL
Veteran Stadium
Yep.
field too. Like I remember that. That
he
place.
refused to put his team on the field.
So he just forfeited.
Yep.
Dude.
And he said, "I'm not putting my team on this field."
That's amazing.
That field was notorious. I remember at one point there was like a list of all the injuries that happened there. Isn't that where Michael Irvin died momentarily?
Yeah. They also threw batteries at Santa Claus there.
Yeah, Veteran State. Do they have a prison in the bottom of the link?
they
like
did for all the people to get.
Do they
drunk and
still have
disorderly.
that? Do they still have that?
I don't know. They just grease poles now.
Did you see that video of the Cowboys fans sitting in the link and they were just getting pelted with snowballs?
Oh yeah, I did
When
see
was
that.
that? It wasn't
What?
this year, right?
Yeah.
Because like
No,
when,
no,
I thought
it
it
wouldn't have
was.
been.
no, when you made
Was
the
that
reel,
not?
because
okay.
you
But either way, it was cool
when I
as
saw
hell.
your reel in there, I was like, it was raining, and then I was like, it wasn't snowing.
Nah, well,
Because they played earlier this year, like October.
I guess I just saw it in the timing and it came
Because the
out
Philly
there.
fans, when you posted it, were irate. They're like, this isn't recent. Let it go.
It doesn't matter. You are who you are. These colors
It's not
don't
recent
run.
because it wasn't snowing.
Literally happened last year. It wasn't even 12 calendar months away.
You didn't have the tools to be successful.
That's why they lost. They couldn't destroy the fans with batteries and snowballs.
Mm.
But- all right, let's take a break. We'll be back and put a bow on the show here. We got some NBA talk. I got to hear how you guys feel about raising banners in the middle of the season.
Big Timber Brewery and Tap Room is located in the heart of Appalachia, Elkins, West Virginia. Their name pays homage to the surrounding forests and the industry that built the community. Big Timber makes beer we love and enjoy doing it, creating a product that we, our town, and our state can take pride in. What started as a dream became a reality in 2014 when their first keg went out the door. Their commitment to beer and community continues to grow stronger every day. Pick up a pack of Big Timber at your local store today.
I just want to kick things off on this segment with something I'm kind of surprised about, and I didn't even know it happened. One of you guys put it in the notes. Ernie Johnson is now a sports broadcasting Hall of Famer. How is that news now? Like, this guy's been in the game so long.
Yeah, I agree. Ernie's one of the best, and everyone in the business regards him as like class act.
Yeah, what bad things are ever said about Ernie?
So, like, the fact he's just now in there is insane. But, like, literally, I was talking to Biggie about this yesterday. Obviously, the whole inside TNT or the TNT crew, Chuck, Ernie, Charles, Kenny, all went to this event because it was the same night of TNT coverage. Well, then they filled out the whole new set, and my God, it was awful. Because Grant Hill was trying to be Ernie, and I'm like, this is not working.
No.
It was bad.
You know, the NBA on TNT crew, that is the best thing on TV as far as like that type of sports coverage. Like we used to have NFL primetime back in the day with like Berman and Tom Jackson, and, you know, College Game Day used to be nice. But this is the only one where it's like I genuinely enjoy it. Like it's that mix of breakdown and humor. It's just perfect.
Well, you never know what kind of jabs you're going to get back and forth between those guys. And that's what's the
Chuck
fun
and
part of
Shaq
it.
go at each other.
Well,
all
they're
the
just
time.
real. It's like
Could
you're
you-
watching them talk to each other and they don't know they're being recorded.
And it's funny, too, because where they've actually fought on NBA court and now they're just sitting on this.
I know. Like, could you imagine like 1998, like
Yeah.
going, one day these guys are going to be studio analysts together.
Well, and to me, like, as much as we all dislike the NBA, like watching it, that's still a show to this day. Like, I can sit down and watch, and I'm involved in every second of it.
yeah. I mean, they
Wow, you're
make
like
it
a-
fun.
You're like a lot of people. You like that show more than the rest of the NBA.
Oh, correct. I watch them talk about the game better than actually watching the
It's
game.
the best part of the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, but the NBA is trying because they're willing to do different things that maybe are outside the norm of historical perspectives, like the in-season tournament, and the Lakers are raising a rafter or a banner in the rafters.
How do you know that your product's bad? You have to create gimmicks, right? Reasons for people to view.
Does that mean it's bad?
So
Is that
you know
why
how many
baseball
people,
did all
you know
that?
how many people watch the NBA in-season tournament finale between the Lakers and the Pacers?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, 2 million people.
4.58 million.
That's more than I thought it would be.
That's less than we'll watch Raiders and Chargers tonight.
Well, that's
But-
not fair. That's not fair. You can't compare.
But the reason I bring up 4.85 million viewers, it's the most people to watch a non-Christmas Day game, which is typically when the
Yeah,
NBA
yeah.
season starts. So basically, it's the most viewers to watch a non-regular season NBA game in 6 years. LeBron, you're the GOAT. This is your league. Everyone wants to see you. Nobody watching games.
So, but what you're saying is the gimmick worked?
Adam Silver, who I'm with Mr. Brown, he's like an alien robot. I don't like him.
He just looks like he's from Men in Black.
It worked
We get it.
because it worked this year because it was the first year.
How do you feel about them raising the banner?
I like the reel I've seen of Kobe Bryant looking down from heaven. It's
Yeah,
a
that's
cutout
right.
of him on the Tonight Show, and he's talking about we only raise banners for championships, and then it shows Lakers celebrating after like a however many game losing streak.
That's what he said, too. He said the video was like, no division banners, no conference banners, just world championship banners. That's the only thing we hang in L.A.
Is that true, though? Do they not have, like, Western Conference banners hanging? I don't know.
Well, they got like 16 or 17 championship banners. That fills the rafters.
Like the Celtics have more, though. Just saying.
I think they're tied now.
The-
All right, so did you hear the fact that they're considering if you win this tournament, you get an automatic playoff spot?
No, that's stupid.
Huh?
That's stupid.
It is. Because think about it. The Pacers played the Lakers in the championship, and I guarantee you, most likely the Pacers won't be in the playoffs. And if they do, they're not going to do anything.
I think this year they might make it, but they'll be like an 8 seed.
That's my point, though. Like, you guarantee them in a spot? I mean, who gets left out? I guess it's crazy.
It is kind of bizarro, but I'll be honest with you. I don't have a problem with them raising the banner because if it becomes a regular tradition, and look, only one team gets to do it, and if you want to put a little tiny banner up and remember that, that's fine. But if that's your MO as the Lakers, like you don't raise banners for things that aren't NBA titles, then don't do it. It's stupid.
I just feel like the Lakers, Celtics, they're franchises that are above an in-season tournament gimmicky thing. Like, I would expect the
Kings are raising that damn thing.
the Kings. I was going to go with the Washington Wizards,
I was
the
gonna go
Memphis
with the
Grizzlies,
or the Thunder.
Hornets. Those are all teams that would raise that banner. Now, as we're getting off that a little bit, did you guys see Pacers and Bucks last night, since we're talking Pacers?
I did not.
Mr. Brown, did you?
I saw that our boy Giannis went nuts. but
Didn't
yeah.
he have like 9,000 points or something?
He had
Exactly.
64 points.
That's a lot for a guy that can't shoot threes.
His final points came on a breakaway dunk with seconds left in the game as the Bucks were clearly going to win. The Pacers decided, because there's been issues with Pacers and Bucks previously, we're taking the game ball. Giannis freaked out.
Oh,
Tried
shit.
fighting guys to get back to
What?
the Pacers locker room to get the
Yes.
ball. You guys
Wow.
didn't see it.
No.
see it.
No.
Okay, when we're done here, we got to watch the video. We should put a reel or something out about it. Giannis has to get held back. He goes back to the Pacers locker room to try and get the ball. They intentionally took it knowing he wanted it. You know what their reason was? And I'm tying this all back because you're wearing a West Virginia hoodie. You know what the reason was?
What's that, baby?
According to Jim Rome, They had to keep the ball because it was Oscar Tshiebwe's first NBA points.
Oh, wow.
And then after they gave him the ball, he said, I don't think this is the real game ball. And then he also said he didn't want it because he scored 64. He really wanted it because Dame became 5th all time on the three-point list.
Oh, is that what it is? I'll be honest with you. Until you said that, I wasn't even aware Oscar Tshiebwe was in the NBA.
I didn't either. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he even drafted? He wasn't drafted, was he?
I don't believe so.
Player of the year in college and can't get drafted.
Well, he's like Zach Edey for Purdue. Like, they don't fit in today's game.
Is that big 7'4" guy or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's awkward as hell.
Yeah.
Clumsy.
He'll have a long career overseas, but he's not going to play in the NBA.
But that's okay. The other thing I was going to ask, it's kind of an NBA/NHL thing, which we never, ever talk about hockey. But did you see that the owner is going to move the Wiz and the Caps out of D.C.?
I did. I saw where DC put in a last-minute proposal to remodel, but his proposal, or DC's as a city's proposal, was a $500 million upgrade. The proposal outside going to Virginia was a $2 billion new arena setup.
Oh, yeah. And look, there's money in Northern Virginia. They run the whole damn state. So the state legislation clearly approved that bond.
Well, the Washington Redskins have actually played it in Virginia for what, like,
no, they play in Maryland.
Or Maryland, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ever
since they left RFK.
Yeah, for a number of years. So you'll have multiple teams that are Washington affiliated that don't play in D.C.
Yeah, but I mean, that happens in a lot of cities. Like the
I don't care that they play somewhere else in that area. It's like the New York
Giants trying to be like New York.
Playing in New Jersey. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
But I guess my question would be, if it works so well for some of these baseball stadiums like the way Atlanta did, is maybe this the right way to go? Like they're going to move out to the suburbs and just build this complex that's going to be all-encompassing an entertainment venue type thing?
I think what Atlanta did is the future of professional sports.
I don't know if it is, man. I think those downtowns don't want to let go of that stuff because that's their livelihood in some areas.
But that's the thing. If you have a good ownership group, you buy 6 blocks. You don't care what fucking the city wants.
Right.
It's about you making the money.
That's like St. Louis, man. Like the Cardinals are downtown, but like they own at least like 6 blocks around that. I mean, maybe not own, but you know what I mean? Like it's all geared toward the ballpark.
Having went to the Braves games the last couple of years, it's like 6 blocks around it. So when you go down for game day, you don't have to worry about cars driving around. Pay any attention to any of that. You're not trying to hustle across the street. Everything is related to the game day experience, which you typically only get with football games.
The only problem is if you do it wrong, you end up with stuff like the Royals and, you know, the Chiefs, man. That's a great atmosphere, but like it's just a parking lot out by the interstate. Like it's like the MetLife Stadium for New York's the same way. Like there's no, you know, the hassle's going to the game. You know, you're not going out there to hang out in East Rutherford or the Meadowlands, wherever the hell it is, New Brunswick.
That's the thing. If you were to create that type of atmosphere around it, you have people that come year round.
Like the Patriots don't play in Boston. You know, they're
Foxborough, Miles.
But
now they've got a complex that's nice to visit. I've never been there. I've looked at everything online. I think that teams that have that pedigree or that history could build it, but like the Charlotte Hornets aren't having it. The Braves can have it. The Patriots can have it. The Giants could have it. You don't care if the Titans have it. Even though I know the Titans are doing a nice new
I think that's going to be badass because it's going to be downtown, but it's going to be across the river from Broadway.
Nashville's the new Vegas, baby.
It's getting up there, man. Too bad their NFL team sucks.
Hey, they got the Fighting Mike Vrabel as head coach. They'll be okay.
For now. The other thing before we kind of put a bow on the show here, just NBA talk. You want to talk about Doncic and LeBron going at it there? A little back and forth. And I think Doncic got the better of him, but didn't he walk away a little limped and weak there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I was watching the Mavs and Lakers go at it with him and Luka. And I'm telling you, like, dude, they both put their teams on their back. They were just going back and forth, like, at each other. And I know we shit on LeBron, but it's amazing to see what he's doing with his longevity in his fucking 20th season.
I don't shit on LeBron on the court. I think he's amazing. I think he plays a hell of a game. He's one of the best ball-dominant players we've ever seen. Because, if you had to pick who you'd want to play with, LeBron would be at the top of the list because he's going to share the ball. But he just does these things that are off-putting. Did you see the USC thing where he showed up during the anthem?
yeah.
Like that's a bad look, man. Don't do that. Like, just wait until it's over, then come out.
As a basketball player, you can't deny what he's done on the court.
No, not at all. And you can't even deny, I know the results are mixed about like his school and things like that, but dude's tried to give back. He doesn't have scandals. He's been with the same girl for a long time. Like, I can respect all those things, but damn, he's just off-putting sometimes.
Yeah, he's like the most into himself athlete. That's what they've all become in this era. But he constantly has to say, I'm the greatest, or I know I've played in some of the hardest finals. Dude, let what you've done on the floor talk for you. Let other people talk for you. Don't do that stuff. You don't need to try and prop yourself up. You're one of the all-time greats.
People prop you up anyway. In fact, honestly, I believe this in my heart of hearts, man. If LeBron never says, that's when I think I'm the greatest of all time. If he never says anything like that, if he never talks about legacy, if he I'm just here to play ball and win championships, if that's all he ever said, I think that narrative about him being the best player of all time wouldn't be as contested because he would.
It might have happened on his own, but when you're LeBron, you create clutch media and you put that narrative out there and you partner with ESPN so you do a podcast for them and they push you down everyone's throat, you're going to get the backlash. And what you just said, if he'd have let it happen organically,
yes.
I mean, he'd have been better off.
If he'd have treated the media like Tim Duncan and just put out the stats he's done,
right?
People would probably be like, he is better than
because Duncan was revered as the best power forward of all time, and he's got zero personality. He just shut up and played, and I know people hate that. I'm not saying don't go be yourself. If you want to go do Space Jam 2 and stuff, whatever, man. Like go be whatever you want to be. But when it comes to your legacy on the court, let it speak for itself. When he was in Cleveland, man, everybody loved him. The first time through in Cleveland, nobody had anything bad to say about him. If anything, they would criticize it. Well, he's not taking shots at the end of the game.
The hate started when he made his decision.
He made the decision, and then he kind of divided that fan base of basketball then, and it's just never changed. And it sucks because he is an all-time talent, an all-time great. He's on most people's Mount Rushmores in some capacity. And I just wish he'd get out of his own way a little bit.
Dude, when you're good, you tell other people. When you're great, they tell you. Jordan didn't like to be called the GOAT even during his day because he didn't get the chance to play against guys before him. The MVP trophy, which they are going to rename the Michael Jordan trophy, when they renamed it, he didn't want that.
Are they going to? Or are you just saying that?
No, it's in his
Is this a thing? I don't know what he's saying. Are you saying
I'll show you after the show, and then we can talk about it another time.
Well, no, our listeners might need a little inclination here. Are you stating?
You can Google it right now. They were going to rename the MVP trophy. It was
for
going
Jordan?
to become the Michael Jordan trophy.
I like that.
But he didn't want that.
I like that too.
And he's been on record several times. He likes being told he's the GOAT.
What is the name of the MVP?
He doesn't want to tell.
What is the name of the trophy? Is it just the MVP trophy?
So it's just always been the MVP trophy. But when they
George
did it
Mikan Memorial Trophy.
Yes.
Well, what I'm saying is now the Eastern Conference Finals MVP is the Larry Bird Trophy. Western is the Magic Johnson Trophy. Remember when they did that a couple years ago? That's when all this came about.
All right. I mean, that's fine. I don't know.
My point being, let other people tell you when you're great. So no one can knock LeBron for what he's done on the court for 20 years.
The only named trophies I like are championship trophies and any college award trophies. Those are I always like. Like, give me the Davy O'Brien Award or the Biletnikoff Award. Those are fun because you only had a couple years to make that impact. And if you were that damn good and they named a trophy after you all those years ago, Jim Thorpe, I think they named a town after Pennsylvania from him too, didn't they?
I'm not sure about that
anyway.
one.
All right, I got a couple of pop culture things and we'll wrap up, put a bow on it here. So, Biggie, I sent you this earlier today. There is a movie coming out from A24 who I absolutely love. Great scary movie they recently did was Talk to Me. They do some weird things, low budget. This doesn't seem to be as low budget as they normally do. Is the movie just called Civil War?
Dude, they had some real actors in there. Kirsten Dunst and a few
you
other
seen
people
this?
I've heard
I have
of.
no idea.
It's got Ron Swanson. Nick Offerman. Is he the president?
I think so.
Damn, he went all the way from the Parks Department in Pawnee, Indiana to the White House. You got to love it. But it's a very realistic feel of if things just kind of fell apart in the country. And I have a prediction. I was telling Biggie this, that I think this will be one of the highest grossing films of the year. I could be way off, but just the sentiment. It's an election year. People are going to feel this shit, and they're going to show up and watch it.
Yeah, it comes out mid-April, I think. If you haven't seen the trailer, Mr. Brown, you should go watch it. It seemed like really realistic.
Yeah, they there's this one scene, and we were texting this earlier, and it was, so who are you? And they say, well, I'm an American. And they go, what type of American are you? And it just kind of fades to black after that. It's
Okay.
it's a little interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a good one there. And then the other thing I saw today, and I can't believe I'm going to bring this up, but I just thought it was so bizarre. Did you happen to see, either of you, that Will Smith, his assistant, has made some interviews here lately, and he's got some pretty big claims about Will maybe playing for the other team sometimes?
I haven't seen any of this. You can hit me with the tidbits. I don't know how much Fresh Prince
I'm
I
glad
want to know.
that stuff don't pop up on my feed.
I'm not going to go any deeper than that. But no, it's just this guy's doing an interview, and he's talking about how he said a name or something like that. But, if you're listening to the podcast, you might want to check out some Will Smith stuff on social media if you're into the celebrity rabbit hole stuff. But I don't know. That's one of those weird ones. But all the stuff with him and Jada and all that weird stuff, like nothing surprises me out of that camp at all.
Now I know why he slapped Chris Rock.
It did, instead of punch him, right? That's why he slapped him instead of punched him. 100%. That's how it goes. But that's really all I got for today, man. One of you guys, I didn't see this, and I'm sad because I'm such a wrestling fan. But I saw that it happened. I saw the headline, but I never saw the video. Goldberg speared somebody during a coin toss or something.
Did you see it?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, so that was playing when
the Falcons
home game. He came out. They even showed him coming out through the locker room, and he was walking like he did.
Did he go through the smoke?
The music was going. He comes out, and he's wearing a Falcons jersey, and there's a guy in the end zone, and he's standing there with a Brady jersey on, and then he runs over there, and he spears him in the end zone. That's amazing.
The only thing would have been better if he would have jackhammered him.
Yeah, he should have.
How old is Goldberg? He's got to be
50-something.
Yeah.
Yeah, mid-50s. Got to be.
Oh, Whisker Biscuits is still in good shape.
It was so bad, even a fan. Like, it was a...
Oh, like it was a botch?
Yeah,
like
no, it was just a bad spear. I think it was because he was trying to, not hit him hard and catch the back of his head so, he didn't kill him. Because he was like a fan.
See, this is why you got to do it to the mascot,
right?
Somebody that's got a little cushion.
Give it your all.
Yeah, you ever see the mascots during NBA games? They'll do those dunks off trampolines and just get wrecked. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah.
So
luchadors of the
mascots, I just got to throw this in there. I'm sure you guys have seen the video. You listening, if you have not, go look it up. Tommy Lasorda beating the hell out of the Philly Fanatic.
Oh, that's
and stealing
fantastic.
back the Tommy Lasorda doll that he had.
That is good stuff.
We need more managers beating the hell out of.
We need more Tommy Lasordas in this world. That's for damn sure. All right, with that, let's put a bow on it. We'll head over and do our NFL Stone Cold Lead Pipe Locks of the Week. We got some exciting games this week, but that does it for the main show here. Thanks for letting us invade your ears. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week. We got one more show in us before Christmas, right? Isn't that how we're looking? I think so.
We are good.
All right, so we're not saying Merry Christmas quite yet, but Happy Hanukkah, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.